Hey, welcome to my channel. It's me, Mike Giannoulis. In this video, I'm going to show you 7 irresistible tweets that Twitter loves. These are tweet types that tickle the taste buds, or however you want to say it. We're going to show you how to tweet better tweets, longer tweets, and just how to make up really good tweets that people respond to. So, okay, let's go ahead and dive in. If you haven't liked or shared or commented ever before, do it in this video. It would be really cool. All right, let's go. I'm going to dive into the PowerPoint. I'm going to show you with real life examples, and I'm going to show you how I've been able to grow my Twitter following by about 10% in the last 28 days. Let's go.
Okay, we're going to talk about how to write tweets on Twitter, the kind of tweets that Twitter loves. These are the 7 irresistible tweet types. This should allow you to create a lot more tweets, a lot more content, and gain more followers. Okay, so question is, why care what I have to say? Okay, I'm going to start by saying I'm not a Twitter giant user yet, but I have made a lot of great progress in the last few months, just to show you where I'm at right now. It'll be kind of cool to come back and show where I grow. But you can see in the last 28 days, I've put out 606 tweets. I've had over 172,000 impressions. People have visited my profile close to 2,000 times, mentioned over 100 times, and you can see over there on the right, I gained 102 followers in the last 28 days. To break that down, that's 21 tweets a day on the average, which is getting me about 3 profile visits per tweet. And I have right now a 5.4% of my profile visits turn into a follow. So I'm going to show you how to follow this kind of strategy that I've done, which is to break down tweets into 7 different categories that I've seen work really well to get people to check you out and eventually follow you. That's one more thing I'll say about Twitter, is it's a long game. You got to be prepared to play the long game. You have to prove to Twitter that you're going to be there and that they can trust to show your content to more and more people. All right, so this is sort of the stacks that you're going to have to develop. I'll do videos on each stack over time. There's the strategy stack, which is, what do you actually have to do to grow it? There's the skill stack, like what kind of skills do you have to develop to get better at Twitter? There's the tech stack, which obviously is the tools and the software that you can use to kind of make things easier. Then there's the execution stack, which is how to actually write the tweets and how to actually post them. And then finally, there's the time stack, which is, how much time do you devote per week to operating Twitter. For this particular video, we're going to focus on execution stack. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right. These are the 7 types of tweets that you should write. Here they are. They are educate, entertain, enlighten, engage, encourage, endorse, and enrage. Okay, so I will say this is not an exhaustive list. Obviously, there's more. If you can think of some other types, please, in the comments, share them and I'll expand on it. But these are the 7 that help me to think about how I'm going to either write a tweet or how I'm going to respond as a comment. If you use each of these categories, it kind of gives you 7 different options in which to respond with. Okay, so don't worry that we're going to go through each one. We'll come up with what each one means, and then we'll also go through, and I've pulled some of my own tweets out to show you examples of each type. So let's go. The educate. Okay, so when you're gonna write a tweet that educates, you want to teach from internal knowledge. That's like something that you already know. You may want to link to outside knowledge. That's something that where you could point to a video on YouTube, or maybe some article. And then at other times, a great strategy is to share a relevant tweet that maybe you wrote previously or that someone else wrote. You can actually share that into a thread. In short, what you want to do is you really want to add value. That's what the educate angle is all about. It's just adding value to that thread. And we'll come back with these examples. I'm going to run through each of the 7 first, give you time to kind of think about it, and then we'll come back and we'll do an example of each type. Next is entertain. I will say I'm probably the least best at this. My brother's really good at this, but when you an entertaining tweet, you want to be funny, you want to be witty, you should reference something, a movie, a song, a cultural reference of some sort. If you have the talent, share your skills. Like my brother can like sing, dance, rap, all this stuff. So he does quite a bit of that. And the short here, the short thing is you want to make them happy. If you get them smiling and feeling good, they're more likely to want to engage with you, follow you, and get more of that because they're kind of becoming addicted to you in that way. The next type is Enlighten. And this is where you're going to go out and share some kind of like wisdom or deep thoughts. You may reference a quote. You may talk about something philosophical. Very good is to like share a routine or a habit that you've used especially for achievement. In short, you want to give them what I would call like a quote unquote spiritual experience. So make them think, make them ponder, make them feel like you're giving them something that's going to apply to their lives, that they can go out and like manifest and feel. This is more of a feeling, emotional play, and it works extremely well. This one's probably the best, I would think, as far as like getting true high quality conversations started and getting very good people that will follow you for the right reasons. Okay, so that's engage. And when you engage, it's very easy because it's just like being yourself. If someone said something that you thought was a little bit out there or you were unsure of it, what would you do in real life? You would just ask a question, right? And better if you can make it a thought-provoking question, like, hey, I know you said that the sky is red, but it looks like the sky is blue. Could you tell me why you think the sky is blue or why the sky is red? Whatever it is, come up with a question that keeps the conversation going. The other thing that you can do to engage is to bring up a counterpoint to another tweet. So if you see someone tweet something out, you're going to want to respond with almost like thinking like, what's the opposite thing? Now, you don't want to go at them hard. You just want to say, hey, have you considered this? Or what about this? Or while I agree in general, this is an example that disproves what you're saying, right? You're honing in on a counterpoint, and that's a great way to get the original tweeter to jump back in and respond to you and to get other people to comment on what you're saying. And that kind of goes to the third point, which is just if you see an ongoing discussion thread, jump in, get involved, add your thoughts, ask questions, and engage with that. Because here's the thing about Twitter. Twitter is all about impressions. It's all about how many times do people see your name pop up. The more times they see your name, the more chances some of them will click on you, the more chances they'll go to your profile. The more that go to your profile, the more that will end up actually following you. We'll talk about this when I get to the video on strategy, but it's really just, Twitter is just one more marketing funnel where you want to bring people through from start to end. So it all starts by creating more content, more conversations, and getting people in. And that's the short here for engage, is just to join in on the conversation. You also then have encourage. This is a great one because it's very, very positive, which is what I lean more towards, as being a positive type. But you can congratulate people on a job well done. If they said something about what they just did, then tell them, great job, that's awesome, so proud of you, so cool. You can share a personal story that you overcame something, right? So, like I shared one the other week about my weight loss, and it did extremely, extremely well. It got some really big names to retweet it, share it. I did like a before after. People love that. They really do, because it inspires them to see what they can do. You also can, if you can't think of your own thing, that's fine. Just share inspirational quotes, images, memes, whatever you can find. It's just about getting out there more and more and more. So ask yourself, how can I encourage this? Because the short here is inspire them. You want to inspire people. This one's really, 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 really powerful. Really powerful because it kind of taps into ego. It taps into people wanting to be endorsed, and you can make them look like they're an authority. So you could actually, if you read a book that you really enjoy by a great author, you can actually mention that author and share specifically how something in that book helps you. So don't just talk about, hey, it was a great book. They don't care about that. They get told that all the time. But if you can say, when you said this, I applied it in this way and this thing happened. That's what authors and people with larger Twitter followings love. And if you do that, the odds of you getting a retweet, which gives you way more impressions, go way up. The other thing that you can do when you endorse is you could share work that you've created or an idea that you've come up with, but tag in there the person who inspired it. So, I read this quote from, tag them from at, John, whoever, and it helped me to come up with this. Tell me what you think. You can start a conversation like that. You also can create tweet threads with what you learned. Those are very powerful too. So you can say, I went through and read, I put together the top 10 tweets from my favorite authors, and here they are. Tag each author and then begin your tweet thread with all 10 things you learned, one from each author. You also can go deep and say 10 things I learned from one author, which gives you a higher odds of getting it retweeted by that author. So in short, let others know they helped you, endorse them, give them some street cred, so to speak, and they'll be more apt to share that with their followers. And finally, the last one, the one that I don't like a lot, I bring it up because it does work. I don't use this as much, but Enrage, right? This is where you can just basically piss someone off. You can troll them with snarky comments. The key to making this work is you have to either believe or act as if you're 100% certain that you're right and that they're not. So really, in short, just be a troll. I'll tell you this, using the Enrage angle, it works extremely well in politics. But I've also been told that those people are very, very broke, or not broke, but don't really spend on Twitter. They're never going to turn into a following that you want unless you're a sort of partisan, person, who's in the politics realm. But it does work. It does get you attention. It gets you retweets. It gets you likes, and you end up getting a pretty good following off that. So let's look at some examples of each of these types. So we kind of went through all 7. Now I'm going to show you some of my tweets. Not saying that these are the best tweets or these are like exactly what you should do. For sure, don't copy them. These are just examples of each type. So on the educate side, I wrote a post that was all about improving your copywriting. So that's one of my things that I'm pretty good at. So I wrote this ultimate guide of copywriting exercises, and it's completely free, and I put it out as a blog post, blah, blah, blah. You can kind of see the tweet there, and then I link out to it. So this is really a great way to educate people. Then you have the entertaining side. I came up with a quote that kind of plays off Shakespeare: if all the world's a stage, be a character worth remembering. You'll see that I hashtagged a few things there: Monday motivation and quotes. I will tell you this: I don't get a lot of play off of those. What I tend to get the most play off of is just commenting on other people with larger accounts. You're better off to comment, especially if you're new or have less than 1,000 followers. You're better to spend all your time commenting on other people as you are to try to write your own tweets that you post off into really a nobody. So think about that. Enlighten. This is the one where you want to make them feel something or kind of have that spiritual aha. Don't mistake ignorance for intention. Now, see what I did there is I kept the I sound, ignorance and intention. And there is a little bit of education here too, right? I'm teaching something, but I'm doing it in a way that they should go, wow, yeah, that's true. And this just means that many times we think people are intentionally doing something to cause us harm, when in reality they're just ignorant. So it's a good way, and this touches a little bit on the enrage, but not really, because no one thinks of themselves as ignorant. Then you have engage. You'll see here that Google went down, and I just asked, hey, is it down for anyone else? And someone actually responded, yep, it's down for me too. And this turned into like 3 or 4 people all talking about how Google was down at the time. So that was just a quick way to engage in a conversation that I knew would attract some people. I did hashtag these, and I think that did help because I knew that a lot of people would be going to search for that. Then we have encourage. And you can see here that I'm giving people some inspirational advice. Once you know who you are, No one else can tell you anything about yourself you either don't already know or know to be false. So again, encouraging them. So like, yeah, that is true. I know myself. No one's going to tell me how to be or what to be. All right. So that's a great little one that did well. And then Endorse. This was a cool one because I'm taking a class with a guy named Tiago Forte. And in this class is called Building a Second Brain. And we did an assignment live on the call. And I was able to follow along and write a 900-word article during the hour. And so instead of just posting it, I posted it, but I tweeted at the people who helped me, who guided me through that. And I actually got a retweet from Tiago, and that probably got me maybe 10 or 15 followers. Again, early on, it's a longer game, but you've got to just earn it. You earn it every single day by doing these small things. All right, and then finally, Enrage. This is one that I'm the most weak at. But I kind of said there's a guy that I follow, and I bought a book from him, and I told him how pretty much it was basically way too cheap, and if I was his coach, I'd make him raise the price ASAP. And you can see that got people jumping in that tagged someone else who had said something similar. So, this is not a great example, but again, my brand and who I am, I'm not really going to enrage that much. And that's a quick point that I'll bring up too. You're not going to always use all 7 of these. Pick the ones that match your voice, that match your brand, that match who you are and who you want to attract. And here's the final kind of bonus E, the 8th E, I guess we'll call it, and that's just enjoy. Like if Twitter's not fun for you, if you're not enjoying it, if you're not building something for the long term, don't do it. There's no point. If you don't have something you want to sell or something that you want to say that you want a lot of people to hear, then there's really no point to be there unless you just, it's fun if you just want to be there to follow people and hear them, but don't feel like you have to build it or follow it if it doesn't make sense. All right, so what are the next steps? Well, for more tweets from me, consider following me on Twitter. And of course, like, share this video, and subscribe to my channel. If you haven't, that's always very, very cool. Love that. Just go to twitter.com/Mike Giannoulis. That's MikeGiannulis. I'll put the link down below, and you'll see the little follow button. Click on that, and you'll be following me. So hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for being here, and I will talk to you very soon. I will come back and create more parts of this where we'll go over each of the other components of the Twitter overall strategy. Have a great day. Bye-bye.